Geography 8, Book The Environment of Pakistan, Chapter number 3, Natural Resources and Issue of Water Sustainability, and this is your 5th lesson. Assalamu alaikum. Our learning objectives are: by the end of lesson, students will learn about water reservoirs, soil diseases, surface water pollution, and water supply issues. The subtopics which we are going to cover today are barrages, waterlogging and salinity, surface water pollution, water as a resource, management of water resources, and water supply issues leading to conflicts. In previous topics, we have studied about Indus Water Treaty, and under Indus Water Treaty, Pakistan constructed 2 dams and 4 barrages on that time. Barrages are basically very long structures used for water storage, and this water is used for irrigation and flood control. The cost of construction of a barrage is significantly less than that of a dam. Students, for construction of dam we also need a mountainous area, but for a barrage it is not true. We can construct barrage on any flat land. Some examples are Kotri Barrage, Sakhar Barrage, Guddu Barrage, that were in lower Indus Plain and on flat land. They encourage human settlements and commercial and industrial activities. Students, on your screens you are watching Sakhar Barrage. There are a number of barrages on River Indus and its tributaries, the larger ones being in the lower Indus Plain. Why larger ones are in lower Indus Plain? Because the width of barrage depend on the width of river, and river Indus is very wide as it enters in lower Indus Plain. The size and capacity of barrage depend on width. For example, Sakhar Barrage is 1440.18 meters long and contain 66 spans. Each one is of 18.28 meters wide. Kotri and Guddu barrages are also larger than the other barrages. Waterlogging and salinity are 2 soil problems in Pakistan. The irrigation system in Pakistan has brought great benefit to many people, as irrigation system made many barren areas into prosperous areas or fertile areas. Dependence on natural hydrological system has been minimized. Hydrological system minimized, it means that dependence on rain fall become less, and new settlements in canal irrigated areas have been established. However, the canal system has been accompanied by problems which are increasingly difficult to overcome. So let's see what type of problems are there. These problems are waterlogging and salinity. These are the outcomes of canal irrigation in Pakistan. When only inundation canals were used, water for crops was only available during the summer season. A balance was maintained between precipitation and evapotranspiration that kept the water table low. Now the question is how to solve this problem. How to solve the problem of waterlogging and salinity. Waterlogging and salinity are menaces or diseases or problems that have made large tracts of land uncultivable. According to one estimate, waterlogging and salinity have seriously affected 3.5 million hectares of agricultural land. Waterlogging and salinity can be prevented and cured. A detailed plan was framed in 1959 to solve the problem of waterlogging and salinity. It divided the Indus Basin into 28 zones of reclamation. Reclamation, it means to recover to remove these diseases from the land. The program is called SCARP, Salinity Control and Reclamation Project. WAPDA, as we know, that Water and Power Supply Authority of Pakistan, was given the responsibility to carry out the projects. Tube wells and surface drains were used to lower the water table and flush out salt from the soil. SCARP has been partly successful in reclaiming some of the land. However, a large area in Punjab and Sindh is still uncultivable due to waterlogging and salinity. It is difficult to cultivate in waterlogged soil, and also if salts are increased in the soil, cultivation is still difficult over there. Here in figures you can see figure 3.32, a government tube well electrically powered on a SCARP area near Lahore. Such wells are used to control the level of groundwater and to control waterlogging and salinity. In figure 3.33, a waterlogged field near Multan in Punjab, waterlogging and salinity have destroyed large areas of cultivable land in Sindh and Punjab. In figure 3.34, a photograph shows deposition of salt on the surface and a waterlogged area of lower Sindh due to seepage of water from unlined canals. This requires flushing out of salt to nearby lake or river to reclaim the cultivable land. Patches of salt left behind after evaporation of water in a waterlogged field. In figure 3.36, you can watch eucalyptus and popular seedling nursery in Fatehjung sub-district area. They are planted in rows to work as windbreaks which combat soil erosion. These trees are also used for reforestation for fuel wood, to improve soil fertility and to lower the water table, to control waterlogging and salinity. Eucalyptus plant need too much water for growth, so this plant is usually grown in areas which are affected by waterlogging. Some more solutions for these areas are lining of canals to control seepage of water. Cemented canal banks can control the seepage. Canal closure on temporary basis so that water passes through only when needed for irrigation purpose. So when water is required, only those days canal should have water. Installing tube well to lower the water table and to provide extra water to flush out salts from the soil. Planting eucalyptus trees because their roots go deep into the ground and absorb water from the soil water table. Surface drain to divert surface water to nearby river or lake to control the salinity of that area. Pollution is not a new word for you. You have studied in from last many classes about pollution. Pollution is any disturbance in your surrounding or in your environment, and there are different types of pollution like land pollution, air pollution, and water pollution. Here we are going to discuss about surface water pollution. Dumping of industrial and agricultural waste and inadequate sewage disposal systems cause surface water pollution. In industrial cities like Karachi, Lahore, and Faisalabad, the problems are more severe than in other areas. Industrial waste is dumped by these all industries are dumping in freshwater streams. It is common practice to let the wastewater flow into open drains, which ultimately discharge into streams, rivers, and then the seas. Massive pollution in rivers occur at various points. Among the worst, here we are having an example. Among the worst is discharge of around 380 cusecs of untreated raw sewage from Lahore to River Ravi. The water flow of the Ravi and the sewage water is equal. It means we can say River Ravi is like a sewage river. This means that about 1:1 dilution is available during low flow period, and then the river become merely a sewage carrier or sewage river. Untreated industrial waste is also directed to rivers or seas. Moreover, garbage is also thrown in freshwater streams and rivers. In Karachi, the seepage from ships is another cause of water pollution. With increasing use of chemical fertilizers and agricultural waste is also adding to water pollution, and water may not remain fit for human consumption. Water as a resource for economic development. Students, we are studying about water sustainability and all problems and benefits related to water. So now we are discussing about how water is a resource for economic development. Water is a resource for economic development in many ways. Agriculture is the main income generating sector in Pakistan that depends on water either in the form of rainfall or irrigation. Agricultural crops such as wheat, cotton, rice, sugarcane, barley, maize, pulses, fruits, vegetables meet the domestic demand for food and other crops, contributing around 25% to the GDP, gross domestic product. Around 2/5 of the labor force is employed in agriculture. Agro-based industries such as cotton textile, food processing, leather use agricultural products as raw material. They also exported and earned foreign exchange for Pakistan, increasing its GNP, gross national product, thus generating income for the country. All these agricultural and industrial areas required plenty of water to complete their projects or products. Water is also used in many processing and manufacturing industries such as steel, thermal power stations, HEP generation or hydroelectric power supply generation, cotton textiles, leather, pharmaceutical companies, and many others. You have studied about them in the start of this unit. Such industries are vital for economic development of a country as they provide employment to the industrial labor force and meet the local demands for industrial goods. So, water is required for all these processes. They also provide electricity to domestic and commercial users. Export of industrial goods earn foreign exchange for the country and contribute to the GDP and GNP. Third important use of water as economic resource is domestic supplies. Domestic supplies of clean water are essential for the survival of population. Healthy people are more productive at their workplaces and contribute more to economic development. Keeping in view the importance of water, it is vital to efficient management of water resources to keep our water economy going. Here we are going to discuss how to manage water resources. Water is scarce resource in Pakistan. It means that we are not having enough water. So its storage, distribution and use have to be carefully managed. In order to bring greater benefit to the people of Pakistan, we have to use water carefully. A fair and just distribution of water between provinces is essential, so everyone can get its share properly. For this purpose, a department was built named IRSA. It means Indus River System Authority, But due to constant drought and institutional mismanagements, the water accord was not followed, resulting in disputes between the provinces and a decrease in agricultural output. Why a decrease? That the farmer was not getting enough water for their crops, and result was loss in agriculture. As Pakistan is predominantly an agricultural country, the scarcity of water resources may affect Pakistan's economy negatively. 70% of Pakistan is on agriculture. So, if there is not enough water for agriculture, it means that it has negative impact on our economy. The efficient management of water resources will become even more important in future. How water supply issues can lead to conflicts? Let's discuss it. Let's study this. A water crisis is emerging in Pakistan, which could have a serious impact on Pakistan's agriculture and economy in coming years. As we know that there is global warming and also climate change, it has been estimated that shrinking Himalayan glaciers will reduce the flow of water to the Indus by around 8% over the next 4 decades. Why is that so? Due to global warming and climate change, glaciers are melting more rapidly, so water will reduce from those glaciers. It is predicted that average agricultural production will drop 25% by year 2050 due to water shortages, resulting in increased poverty and hunger. A water crisis is further worsened due to conflicts at various levels. So, at least we have to solve these conflicts. There are 3 types of conflicts. First one is international impact of Indus Water Treaty 1960, violation of Indus Water Treaty by India, provincial that all provinces have problem with each other regarding water distribution, Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Sindh and Punjab. Next, we are having users. If they use water carefully, then we can overcome the problem of scarcity of water. Users include agriculture, industry, and domestic and other users. If we see international issues of water, first one is impact of Indus Water Treaty 1960. As we have studied earlier, due to Indus Water Treaty, Pakistan lost control over 3 eastern tributaries, Ravi, Satluj and Beas. This has reduced the water supply to eastern part of Upper Indus Plain. An effort was made to solve the problem by constructing Tarbela and Mangla reservoirs and a system of link canals to divert water from western tributaries of Indus system to eastern Punjab. However, due to increasing demand from farming and other users, there is shortage of water in the Upper Indus Plain. Less water is in the eastern tributaries in Pakistan has remained a source of tension between India and Pakistan since the treaty was signed. The next problem is violation of Indus Water Treaty by India. India violating the Indus Water Treaty (IWT) by constructing several dams on Indus and other rivers of Pakistan. Pakistan opposed these dam projects such as Kishan Ganga Dam project, Baghliyar Dam, Neelam Jhelum project, power project on the western tributaries of Indus system. These projects not only release less water to Pakistan but will also reduce the generation of hydroelectric power, as generation of electricity requires high volume of water in the rivers. So it's a constant threat for Pakistan that Pakistan will not get its enough water for agriculture and for HEP generation. Pakistan challenged construction of these dams at an international forum to stop the Indian government from building reservoirs on rivers. which run into Pakistan. Unfortunately, India has been allowed to construct dams on western tributaries with some conditions like reducing the water storage capacity of the reservoir. Moreover, Moreover, as India has control of Indus water's timing of the release of water into the rivers by India is an important issue too. If extra water is released during flood season, it would cause massive scale devastation all over the Indus plain. India has held back water in the dry season, creating severe water shortage in Pakistan. So control on water can seriously a problem for Pakistan, that if India has excess water, it will release during flood season, and we will see the consequences that whole Indus plain will be under flood. And if during dry season, if it control water, that it would be difficult for our crops, for us to grow our crops. Another problem for Pakistan is the construction of Baglar Dam on eastern tributaries. It's a violation of Indus Water Treaty. India violated the Indus Water Treaty 1960 by constructing Baglar Dam on River Chenab in 2000. As shown in figure 3.38, you can see the map on your book, page number 66, and on your screen as well. Students, on your screens you are watching Baglar Dam. Technical experts say that the design of the dam violates the terms of the Indus Water Treaty 1960, as it will increase India's storage capacity, which can cause acute shortage of irrigation water in Pakistan. Pakistan can get its water as India already stored in the dam. According to international law, no state is allowed to change the natural conditions of its own territory to the disadvantage of the natural condition of a neighboring state. No state is allowed to stop or divert the flow of a river which runs from its own territory to a neighboring state. Therefore, construction of Baglar Dam, the Baglar Power Project, seems to be a violation of the international law as well. Pakistan and India had agreed on Indus Water Treaty in 1960 to attain the most satisfactory utilization of the waters of Indus system of rivers, and both the countries have followed it for years. Eventually, the issue was referred to the World Bank for the final decision, as World Bank was also there when treaty was signed. According to World Bank's final verdict in 2007, India was asked to reduce the capacity and height of dam structure to minimize water losses to Pakistan. However, it did not stop India from building the Baglar Dam, and India managed to complete it in 2008. According to news reports, the closure of the river Chenab is inflicting irreversible damage to Pakistan's agriculture and economy. International issue was with India, but we are having some provincial issues too, as Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa have some issues. A major source of conflict between these provinces, the construction of proposed Kalabagh Dam on River Indus. Indus has capacity to build more dams on it. Kalabagh Dam, if constructed, is the biggest dam or largest dam, but there are so many issues in construction of Kalabagh Dam. KP has voiced their concerns or fears over construction of Kalabagh Dam due to the following reasons. Khyber Pakhtunkhwa fears that most of water stored in Kalabagh Dam reservoir may be diverted to Punjab through link canals. However, Punjab agreed not to construct canals from Kalabagh reservoir to irrigate Punjab. Moreover, electricity generated from Kalabagh Dam will be used in much of Pakistan through the national grid system according to requirement of areas. That means KP will not get any extra electricity from Kalabagh Dam. The project will result in large scale evacuation of areas, as we have studied that if we construct larger dam there will be larger evacuation of people of the area included in KP. It is estimated that about 30,000 people will be displaced. It is feared that the affected people will not receive compensation and rehabilitation. Concerns have been raised that large areas of Nowshera district would be submerged by the reservoir and even wider areas would suffer from waterlogging and salinity as has occurred as a result of the Tarbela Dam. However, some engineers with expertise on dam construction repeatedly deny that Nowshera city could be submerged by the dam reservoir. So these are the concerns and fears of KP and Punjab. There are concerns between Punjab and Sindh too. Due to its location in the lower Indus plain, Sindh has its fears about the distribution of Indus water between Sindh and Punjab. Even after the establishment of IRSA in 1991, Indus River System Authority, the conflict between the two provinces could not be resolved. Sindh always complained of receiving a smaller share of water from Punjab for its rabi crops. The proposed Kalabagh Dam has been strongly opposed by Sindh on the following grounds. Let's discuss these grounds. Sindh's concern on construction of Kalabagh dams were the water availability for Sindh would be further reduced after the construction of Kalabagh Dam, as the water stored in Kalabagh reservoir might be used to irrigate farmlands in Punjab and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, and Sindh will get less water share. Due to this reason, the coastal regions of Sindh require a constant flow of water down the Indus into Arabian Sea, so that the flowing water can keep the sea water from intruding inland. Such sea water intrusions would literally turn vast areas of Sindh's coast into an arid saline desert and destroy Sindh's coastal mangrove and would reduce fish production. Actually, river Indus brought alluvium which it spread on seabed that prohibits sea to intrude into the land. So if Kalabagh Dam construct, that would be a problem for seabeds of Sindh. The construction of the dam would reduce the flow of river Indus downstream at Kotri Barrage near Hyderabad, causing more water shortage in canal irrigated areas of lower Sindh. Silt deposited in proposed Kalabagh reservoir would eventually reduce the storage capacity of the reservoir. This problem we are already facing in Tarbela and Mangla Dam and smaller dams too. So there would also be a problem if we construct Kalabagh Dam. This would further reduce the water supply to Manchar Lake and Haleji lakes in lower Sindh. Even though Pakistan is facing acute water shortages, the Kalabagh Dam could not be constructed due to provincial conflicts. Third issue is to supply water to users. Water is used by various sectors such as agriculture, industry, domestic and others. As you can see in the figure that 70% water is used by agriculture, 20% by domestic users and 10% by industries. Agriculture already absorbs 70% of the total surface water and almost all the groundwater, followed by industry 20% and 10% domestic and other users. As agriculture consumes the bulk of the water supply, the water availability is reduced for other users, leading to conflict. For example, Haleji Lake supplies water to Pakistan steel mills and it also provides the domestic supplies of Karachi. Industrial use of water has reduced domestic supply to Karachi, thus creating water shortage. In the same way, less water is available to irrigated for forests of the Indus Plain due to excessive use of water in agriculture. It is an essential fact that Pakistan faces a severe water shortage and that some form of water management must be introduced soon. There is an urgent need to solve conflicts in water distribution through effective management, skillful diplomacy, and the government at an international forum and settlement between the provinces and users for the sake of national interests. At the end of topic, let's discuss about some steps which we can take to conserve water. In order to conserve and sustain scarce water resources, the following steps should be taken. First one, national priorities such as the maximization of agricultural production should be considered with regard to the distribution of water between the provinces. It means that if we want to increase the agricultural products, the disputes between the provinces should be resolved. Sites for small dams should be developed to store surplus flow during monsoon season. Small dams are most cost effective and produce quick results compared with large dams because they are constructed in a shorter period of time, are cheaper to build and easy to maintain. In order to avoid water loss from unlined canals, a crash program should be launched to line the canals with cement. Freshwater sources like rivers and lakes should not be used as dumping sites of solid and liquid waste, as we are polluting our rivers and freshwater sources and we are unable to use them again for drinking. Natural freshwater lakes should be conserved to develop local water sources. In Sindh, the Manchar, Khinjar and Halaji lakes are the worst affected by pollution. So we have to save water for drinking to stop polluting them. Groundwater contamination should be prevented as far as possible by controlling the seepage of toxic waste into ground. Industrial waste especially should be stopped. Desalination of seawater. To overcome water shortage, it means that seawater can be converted into drinkable water after desalination or after reducing salt from it or eliminating salts from it. A public education and information program should be launched to influence the attitude of people towards the need to conserve water because it is diminishing natural resource. The media, NGOs and educational institutions should take part in this program. As we have seen that from last few years that a campaign is running on everywhere, so we have to follow this and we have to save water for our next generations. Students, here is your assignment. You have to solve complete two questions on your notebooks. Explain why waterlogging in salinity of soils causes problem to farmers. You have studied it well. Reread it and complete this question on your notebook. Question number 2 is water pollution is major problem in urban areas. With reference to example, explain some of the causes of this pollution and why it is a major problem to people who rely on this water supply. Solve both questions on your notebook. And the last one is skill book page number 11. You have to complete this page on your skill book.